And boom, there we are. It is a Tuesday night, Studio 67. I know last night we said Austin KLOMP was going to be joining us on tonight's show. Austin had prior engagement, so Austin not in the air chair tonight, but Glen Rusenstrom joins us from Just In Case, because remember the last time Glen was on, we ran out of time, so we brought Glen back. And of course, Glen, you've got some amazing stories to bring to the table tonight.
A little bit of sports, a little bit of hockey, a little bit of collectibles, a little bit of passion, a little bit of heart. So we'll get involved in anything and everything sports related.
All right, and even if it's not sports related, bring your collectibles to the show. Type in what you might have or what you think it's worth. And again, Glen, you're good at doing appraisals. It's almost like a psychic hour, but a sports memorabilia hour.
We'll try to steer everybody in the right way.
Steer them into the right direction. And we should say for watching tonight's show, you've got four chances, a chance to win 4 passes to Midtown Bowl and 4 passes to Imagine Cinemas. So it's bowling and a movie. And then now that Glen is in the seat, Glen brought some additional prizes for tonight's winner. This is, I'm going to say this is a pretty ginormous prize. What do you have?
Yeah, this is pretty good. We've got a circa 1959 puck
let me take that
from the Montreal Canadiens, and it was issued by the Hockey Hall of Fame. And I believe they were given out in Molson Products 25, 30 years ago. Those pucks are extremely hard to get.
Hard to get.
Very, very hard to get.
And again, the value of that puck, should we show the value of that puck?
It's $100, if not more.
$100 puck for that. So you're going to get the bowling passes, Imagine Cinema passes, a puck from the Montreal Canadiens, 1959, which is, you're saying an easy value right now. If someone were to buy that online, it'd be worth $100.
It'd be very easily. And the beautiful thing is, the puck is available for an autograph. So there's not too many players around that still would have played in 59. But if you could get somebody, Bert Olmsted, and get Bert Olmsted to sign the bottom of the puck,
it'd be worth
a heck of a lot
more.
Yeah, a heck of a lot more.
Now, what else are we throwing into the pile tonight?
Now, just to show people, because I want to explain to people that...
Let me take this up while you
describe.
Just
because you have something that you think it has no value or it's going to be thrown away. When Montreal closed the Forum in 1996, they were giving out these Forum programs for their auctions, because they were selling off anything that wasn't nailed down in the Montreal Forum. They were given away, they were thrown away. Like I remember having stacks and stacks of them. Couldn't give them away for a while. Well, that was 1996. This is 30.
It's hard to believe 96 is that many years ago. To me, the 1970s and the 80s still feel like 10 years ago.
I know,
right?
I know, I totally agree. But that program on its own right now, that's worth between $50 and $60. People are paying for these programs where they were given out for free. So just to show you, just because you have something and you think, oh my God, I got it for free, it's not worth something. Once in a while, you get lucky and you can hang on to something and it becomes worth a little bit of money. And the last thing we have is, again, I love the All-Star Game.
Let me show this. And I think everybody remembers these when Canada Post had them. These are what, the 50th anniversary of the NHL All-Star Game stamp.
And it was in Toronto, just like it is this year. It's
bit of a glare. There we go.
In Toronto. And on the back, we got Gretzky, Bobby Orr, Doug Harvey, Maurice Richard.
Hard to
I
see
think
there.
there's 2 other players. And this today is worth, in essence, I think it's about between $40 and $75.
For that. And again, if you notice the seal, they've never been opened. And again, it's back when these were issued, you bought the book for $2.99. And again, they used to have the coins that went with them too.
Yeah, coins issued by the Royal Canadian Mint. Yeah.
Wow. So tonight's prize pack, pretty juicy for one watcher of tonight's show. Again, 4 passes to Midtown Bowl, 4 passes to Imagine Cinemas. You get a 1959 puck from the Montreal Canadiens. You get the Montreal Forum auction booklet. And again, stamps from the 1950 NHL All-Star Game. which was, Canadian tender back in 2000. And again, stupid us, when they're not collecting them like Glen does, we actually use them and licked them on envelopes and sent mail.
And that's the beautiful thing of this. You could crack this open. You'd probably need 2 of the stamps, because they're 46 cents.
It's still Canadian tender. You could
put
still
it on
mail
it.
some
you
letters.
You could still mail your Aunt Doris a letter or a gift
Aunt
card
Doris
with those.
On the farm. That's it. She'd probably kick your butt knowing the value of those stamps. So that is an amazing prize pack. And again, talking collectibles, if you've got anything lying around, how close can you get with if someone says, "Hey, I've got
what I want to do
card.
is try to explain to people what it's worth, which is great, but what is a dealer going to pay for it? You got to remember, just because this is worth let's say $100.
Let's say $100 for that puck.
Right?
It could be worth $5 to someone online.
Yeah. Now, if you take it to a dealer, now don't forget a dealer has rent. He's got to pay his employees. He's not going to give you
$100 for it.
He's going to give you probably 40%, 35%.
For $40, that's it. Firm.
Right. But if you can find the end user, somebody that's a Montreal collector, somebody that's only missing that puck, that's where you can get the $100 for it. Quite easily, if not more. So I want to show people the beginning price and the end price.
And the end price.
Yeah, because even when you grab, I think we were talking about it last time, the Beckett price book that shows pricing of cards. So it might say a Gretzky rookie card.
I remember that as a kid. You'd pick up the card, you go in the back and say, this card, instead of 50 cents, it's now worth, $5. And of course, you throw it in a shoebox, and it's lying somewhere. Remember the story you were telling last time? Who was it? Was it a Lori?
Gretzky's. Lorianne Loretto's place.
Yes. Did you ever find the mystery of that story?
I haven't reached out to her yet, but it's funny because I was speaking to Lisa today, and I had mentioned Lorianne. I will reach out to Lorianne because I know where she lives. She lives in my old house. She did say I could come over anytime
and take a look in the attic, because what could be up there? There's now, to get people up to speed, in Glen's old house, he had a box of collectibles stuck in the attic. You left them there when you moved. You forgot them there?
I think Mom and Dad were too lazy to go up in the attic and get them. And they were hockey cards. And
the hockey cards could still be up there under the spray insulation. You said there was spray foam. They were doing the spray foaming.
They were spray foaming in the attic.
Because you wouldn't have left it out in the open. It's probably hidden underneath a floorboard somewhere.
Because as we got older and all the kids moved away to Toronto to go to school or whatever, Mom and Dad took most of the toys and put them up in the attic. And that was considered toys. Hockey cards were toys. And that's where they went. And I don't know if my mom and dad didn't have the heart to say we threw them out, or if they put them in the attic.
What type of value are you thinking would be in that box if they were still there, obviously in mint condition, because no one's touched them since?
Well, I honestly remember, like 1.5 inches of Gretzky rookie cards. I think we talked about
it. And they're $1.2 million right now.
If they're in perfect condition, graded. Even at worst case, if they were $10,000 each, there had to be 60 of them.
Holy smokes! So how many people are trying to track down Lorianne Loretto? Hey, Lorianne, check your attic.
Lori, I won't mention your address.
Yeah, no, we won't do that. But she could be living underneath a gold mine, literally.
Very, very much so.
Isn't that wild? And what else was in there? You said the stack of Gretzky cards, which could be. Yeah, I just saw one online the other day. It was someone bought it for $1.25 million.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were talking about Mickey Mantle, and I did do my research. A PSA 10, which is absolutely mint. Sold for $13.5 million.
Holy smokes. Again, to someone, to the right buyer. They always say, quote unquote, the right buyer. If anything's got a price tag on it.
There's a lid for every pot.
So someone could say, hey, I need that puck for my collection. Right. Whoever wins tonight, they could be phoning up our winner and say, you know what, instead of 100, I'll give you $300 or $400 for it for my collection.
It's weirder things have happened.
It's weird what happens. Nicole says, my husband has a shoebox full of old hockey cards. So again, Nicole, reach out to Glen at Just In Case. Again, you can find you online, and you love when people phone with their collectibles.
Oh, it happens on a regular basis. In my heyday, going back 10 years ago, I was the Gretzky guy. I was the guy that everybody contacted for Gretzky signed jerseys and pictures and pucks. And still, you know, I've been out of the game for a little bit. I still get people reaching out 2-3 times a day. I've got this Gretzky jersey. Or at least tell me the story about it.
Well, that's the best part of your
Tell
day.
me the story.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great because I love educating people about it. You know, they'll say, well, I think the jersey was this. And I'll politely correct them and say, no, that was a McDonald's giveaway. There was only 499 of them. It wasn't for sale. And, you know, I've still got paperwork. I've still got some of the McDonald's certificates for it. You know, it's fun to educate them.
Fun to educate. And again, if Nicole were to reach out, some people, maybe they're reluctant to reach out, thinking that there's a fee involved. Like if they just want to phone and chat collectibles.
Absolutely. Talking's for free.
Talking's free. And again, if you watched the last time you were on, you had hanging behind it. We're going to talk about the jerseys. If you can see those jerseys behind us, each one has a story. Last show, you had a Ken Dryden jersey, which wasn't even game worn. And the specialty on that jersey is, you said Ken did not want to sign his autograph, and someone tricked him to sign that jersey.
Yeah, there's a few players out there that don't like to sign. George Armstrong's one of them also. Doesn't really like to sign. And you have to get the stuff authenticated, especially if you're doing it in person. You have to bring it to a third party and get their opinion saying, yes, it's real, it was signed. And we did get it authenticated. Now, one of these is a Bobby Orr jersey.
Yeah, the green one behind us there. It looks like the Timmins North Stars jersey, but it actually is a North Stars jersey.
It's the
but
Minnesota
it's when
North
Bobby
Stars
played.
jersey. I would love in the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes for somebody to tell us, when did Bobby Orr ever play for the Minnesota North Stars? Well, I can tell you two things.
And you said there's a bit of a story of why he wore that jersey.
There's a bit of a story. Now, and Bobby, there's also pictures of him playing goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres. So we'll give everybody a couple minutes. We'll keep talking.
Couple minutes.
I would love to know if anybody knows the story about the Minnesota North Stars and about the Buffalo Sabres.
Wow.
While you're trying to research that, Wayne Gretzky and Bobby Orr did play together one game. You got to remember, Gretzky didn't break into the NHL to 79-80.
No.
Bobby Orr retired.
Gretzky started in the WHL.
That's right, in the WHA. He actually played for Indianapolis Racers and then was traded, ended up for Edmonton.
Then Edmonton.
Yeah, but never actually played for Bobby Orr. So what happened was Bobby had just retired. Wayne was still playing in the WHA for actually the Edmonton Oilers at that time. So what happened was the WHA, it was in really, really tough times. As a whole, the WHA was having a very hard time making payroll just to pay the players completely. So they decided to have a benefit game, kind of an all-star game.
A charity all-star skills competition.
With the WHA players playing other WHA players. So Bobby Orr had just retired. His knees were absolutely shot. So the WHA contacted him and said, you know, Bobby, we know you're no longer under an NHL contract. We would love for you to play in this WHA benefit game. It would allow us to pay players for the rest of the year because we know by putting your name on the billboard, it was going
to sell the seats.
It'll sell out.
And that's how awesome Bobby was.
That's the kind of guy Bobby was. So he went and he played, but he told them one shift up and down the ice once.
And that was it.
And that's it.
And so, he wore that jersey?
Not that one. The one he wore is actually, it says Winnipeg Moose on it. And he did that one shift, and there's a famous picture of Bobby Orr and Wayne Gretzky sitting on the bench together. And that's the only time those two have ever played in an actual game together.
Wow. And again, that jersey, what would the price tag be? It's obviously that's officially signed by Bobby, and again,
and that comes from Bobby's company, Great North Road.
And that's a lefty. He's a left-hander, so
yeah. Because if you look at Bobby Orr's signature, it's back slanted, meaning he was left-handed, right? So most Bobby Orr signatures are backslanted, they call it.
So if they're not
And you can see it.
backslanted, you've got a fake hanging up.
You've got something that's a
got
little bit questionable.
someone pulling the wool over your eyes.
Yeah, yeah. So
But an
I'm
interesting
curious
story.
if anybody knows anything about that Minnesota jersey. If anybody's chimed in on that. Or the Buffalo. The Buffalo.
What is this? Chris says, fire up this. Beckett Magazine in the 90s had addresses to send items to hockey clubs. Did players actually sign them, these items? For example, Wayne Gretzky.
Gretzky, if you sent it to his home in Brantford, which is 42 Vivaldi Drive, when Walter was alive, if you sent something to Wayne on Vivaldi, 99 times out of 100, Walter would have it signed with what was called
the 99.
auto pen
Yeah.
and sent back to you. Now, Walter would inscribe to Glen, and then the auto pen was a machine that wrote Wayne's name, say Wayne Gretzky 99. Best wishes, Glen, Wayne Gretzky 99, and he would ship it back to you. Because I know that happened to us. We ran into Walter when Wayne was coaching Phoenix, and we were walking from from the Air Canada Centre to Gretzky's restaurant, and we saw a guy limping, and I thought we better go help this old guy. So we went and helped him.
It turned out to be Wayne.
No,
pardon me, Walter.
It turned out to be Walter. So we brought him into the restaurant and sat down, and he said, "Oh, wait, Wayne will be here. Wayne will be here." It was like 4 hours later. We couldn't wait any longer. We went home. But Walter took our name and number, and a couple months later, he sent myself and my wife an autographed picture. But we did find out later it was auto pen, and there's telltale signs on an auto pen.
So auto pen wouldn't be worth the same as if he signed it himself.
So it's exactly what that question is. When you're sending something to somebody to get signed, it's no proof. In the 50s and 60s, Mickey Mantle's secretary. The rumor is there's more secretary signed Mickey Mantles than actual Mickey Mantles.
Oh, wow.
Same with JFK. If JFK, when he was president, most stuff was signed by his secretary. And it's just the way it was.
And people are telling people that they got these, authentic autographs. Little do they know they've got the replicas. Hey, Ronnie, go to your fiance's question there. She says, this is Princess Melissa. And Ronnie and Melissa just, they're newly engaged. She says, I still have a lot of hockey cards to sell to make profit for funds that I support for community living. So I think Melissa's going to have to reach out to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I'll steer you the right way. Just so you know, Melissa, anything from basically 90 to 99
won't be worth anything, or will?
Is worth wallpaper. There was just so much produced. It was overproduced and oversaturated. But anything before that is worth money.
So what years, if someone is looking at their old collection right now?
Well, Upper Deck started, I think, in hockey in 1990. So from 1990 to about 2001 was overproduced. After that, they knew the market was super saturated, so they stopped. And they started making limited editions and limited runs. And I think it was the early 2000s they started coming out with, and I was always totally against it, game-used jersey cards. So what they do is they would take a supposedly Wayne Gretzky jersey, a game-used jersey, and they would cut it up. So you're taking a piece of history and you're cutting up to 1-inch squares.
And people would buy these?
Well, then they were putting them into a card.
So a piece of jersey, that's almost how Ken Dryden signed that jersey that was here last week.
Pretty well, yeah. It was a piece of a jersey. It was a piece of tackle twill.
And someone tricked him to sign the piece.
Yeah.
And then stitched into that jersey.
You can understand where if Gretzky wore, let's say in his 20-year career, if he wore 500 jerseys, that's not the end of the world if they've cut up 100 of them, okay? But when you get into a player like George Vezina, who only wore let's say 8 jerseys in his entire career, you're going to take a piece of history where the guy only wore 8 jerseys, and you're going to cut that up and put it into a card? how do you prove it's really
Well, how do you prove it's real unless you physically were there to watch them cut the piece and then stick it in the car?
I'm not pointing fingers, but the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong piece could get put into it.
Well, so that's why you have to be very cautious when it comes to, your collectibles. What is Josh saying? Josh Guillemette says, we have vintage Bobby Orr gloves signed. Any chance you can authenticate?
I'm not licensed to authenticate. I can give you my opinion. I can look at them. I can tell you what years the gloves came from, possibly if they're game worn. There's companies that come to Toronto 2 or 3 times a year, JSA, PSA, Beckett, and they can look at them and they can say yes or no right on the spot. I can look at your autograph and look at
match
mine.
It with that one.
Okay, but you got to realize if you're saying they're vintage game worn Gretzky jerseys, I've got a Bobby Orr jersey in this book from the early 60s.
And again, we're going to talk more about this book.
Yeah.
This book fell into your hands how?
Somebody had passed away and they wanted to sell their mom's autograph book. That's Bobby Orr's autograph from I think it was the mid-60s, early 70s.
Hard to see that on there. Where's Bobby Orr? There, it's kind of hard to see it. It's right below there. Hang on here. Whoops. There it is right there.
Okay. And if you compare that to the Bobby Orr that's on the jersey.
Or his gloves.
Yeah, this is, 40 years later. People's autographs are going to change.
They change, and again, it looks like it's a further lean because he is a left-handed writer, Josh. Again, Chris says that many times if you rip a jersey card, it's not even the player on the card.
I've unfortunately heard of that. It's like I said, it's hard to prove one way or another. It's an opinion. That's why I'm a firm believer in buying something that you've either seen autographed in front of you, whether it's a private autograph show or a public autograph show or an in-person signing, or if you're buying it from a company that has a paper trail. A paper trail means Upper Deck, Frameworth, GNR. GNR is Bobby Orr's company. Steve Yzerman had his own company. There's a ton of players that you can buy direct from the player and direct from the agent. That's a paper trail. Buying it from somebody who says, yeah, I had this signed, it's not that I'm disagreeing with them.
Well, yeah, you got to take it's word for word, right?
Yeah.
What is Guy saying? He says, I have a picture of myself with Mr. Guy Lafleur when he came at TDH, when I worked at the hospital. Any value to a picture with Guy Lafleur?
Here's the thing. I'm not knocking that. That's a personal piece. That's between you and Guy. Do I want a picture of you and Guy? I'm sorry, I don't even want a picture of my wife.
Well, his name is
Guy.
It's Guy's Lafleur. If you put the plural on there,
right? So, but most people want an action shot Montreal picture of Guy Lafleur. They don't want Guy and somebody else, right?
No.
But like Guy Lafleur,
I'd buy your picture from you.
It's a great piece, and I got a great Guy Lafleur story. I'm a Montreal fan. Red, white, and blue, I bleed. I was lucky enough. I still have a friend in Toronto who does signings, and one of the guys he would do signings with on a regular basis was Guy Lafleur. Now, my friend is Ryan Lewis. His company is Autograph Authentic. So he called me out of the blue about 5 years ago. My father was very ill. He was dying of cancer, and Ryan knew that he was my favorite and was one of my dad's favorite.
Okay.
So he called me and said, "Oh, meet me at this bistro at 7 o'clock." I really, really didn't want to go, but my wife said, "Go. You need a night out." So I went, and Ryan was there, and I looked at the bar, and I said, "That guy looks familiar." That was Guy Lafleur. So Ryan had planned this dinner for me, him, and Guy Lafleur and Guy's brother.
Wow.
So the nice thing was that all night it was just talking about friends and family and growing up. It wasn't really, "Oh, Guy, tell me about the time you scored 53 goals." It was none
They were
of that.
very humbled.
Very humble.
Yeah.
But at the time, Guy was suffering from lung cancer. It was when first time he went into remission. So we started talking. And I said, oh, you know, my dad is up in Timmins, Guy, and he's not well. And, you know, he's suffering from cancer too. And by now, it was about 9 o'clock. And Guy said, you know, you think your dad would be up? I said, no, he's probably sleeping. He said, phone him. So I phoned the old man, and he picked up the phone. He was half asleep. And I said, Dad, I got somebody here that wants to speak to you.
Wow.
So Guy talked to my dad. It seemed like for 20 minutes. It was probably only 2 or 3 minutes. But I believe it was the last time I saw or I had heard that my father had smiled. But that's because Guy Lafleur called him, and we were just shooting the shit,
what a story
eating and drinking.
What a memory.
And Guy called my dad out of the blue.
Did you buy him a beer after that?
Oh, I think I bought dinner that night.
Yeah.
I think I bought dinner that night. But like Guy, I've got absolutely the utmost respect. And like I said, that was kind of my hero between Lafleur and Gretzky growing up. But once Guy did that, it surpassed Gretzky. Like nothing could pass that. That was not just being a good hockey player. That was being a good human being. So like,
wow, what an amazing story. You don't see or hear too many stories like that nowadays. Everybody's all, you know, money hungry, NHL players, you know, turning down money. And we were talking about this before we jumped on. Another tie-in with Bobby Orr. What's the story? Did he play for free? He did not pick up a paycheck when he played?
So what happened was Bobby was one of the first players, if not the first, to succumb to free agency. Don't forget, he played for Boston. But his contract was up, and his agent said, you know what, Bobby, let's see what other teams are going to offer you. So Chicago offered him, I believe it was $1 million a year. I might be off a little bit. So Bobby went and played for Chicago. Now, don't forget, Bobby's knees were shot by then. So he played 2 years with Chicago. I believe he played, it was either 18 or 24 games over 2 years. And then he said, that's it. Can't play anymore, I'm done. So the rumor was that Bobby never cashed any of those paychecks in 2 years.
In 2 years.
Whether he played or not, it was a guaranteed salary. So at the end, when he retired, the owner was Bill Wirtz. He went back to Mr. Wirtz and said, I can't in good faith cash these checks because I didn't play for you, and when I played for you, I wasn't at 100%. He gave back the paychecks.
Paychecks back. He collected them all and gave them right back.
He gave them right back. He said, I can't in good faith. And you don't see that nowadays.
No. You see people squawking over 11.
Yeah.
No, 11 million. I need 11.5.
Well, look at Nylander. Has he done much after he got that big contract? I'm not
Tracy
saying.
And I say that every game. Nylander, you know, he's got to hustle more for that new paycheck he's got. What, at $92 million
you
over
can't
the next
spend
8
that.
years.
If you can spend that in your lifetime, wow, you must have had a good life.
Well, you see a lot of players who abuse their salaries, you know, the bankrupt stories. But, geez, you know, they have to put it in perspective and say, you know what, the average person who's watching, filling a seat and cheering on, you know, the average hockey player would kill.
Under $100,000 a year.
To make a salary like that. And again, I think they did the math. I think Gretzky got paid $50,000 every time he tied his skates before each game.
Yeah, and don't forget, Gretzky retired in '99. That's 25 years ago. What he made his final season, I think he made $6.
Like 600,000?
No, $6 million.
Oh, $6 million. $6 million. Okay, no, he wasn't making league minimum.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
Even league minimum, I'd take.
Yeah, but
anybody would.
Gretzky was a different animal. He deserved, in my opinion, more than anybody else. But even at the end, he was humble. He was very, very humble. Like, look at him. His last game, he said, I want this to be like my first game. And he had Wally drive him to the arena. And apparently, all the way to the arena, Wally said, come on, one more year. Wayne, come on, one more year.
Trying to encourage his son to move it on.
And Wayne said, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm in too much pain. The game is too fast. The players are too big. I can't do this anymore. I can't. So at least he had the insight and the hindsight. When he retired, he retired. Wow. That was it.
Amanda says, I'll tie skates for $50K, no problem. LOL. I think anybody would. Here's a comment from Tricia here. Let me see if I can read this, Ronnie. I found a $10 bill today and brought it to the teachers on duty as the kids were at the ski hill to enjoy skiing and snowboarding. And I brought it to her, and she said a big thanks for your honesty. Of course, I can't take money that isn't mine, so it's nice to see comments like that.
Yeah. No, that's good. So did anybody figure out Bobby Orr, Minnesota North Stars?
The Minnesota North Stars. That's not a Timmins North Stars jersey.
That's right. Or Bobby Orr, Buffalo Sabres.
Anybody?
Cheryl?
Evening. Jacques says evening. Good evening, Jacques. Thanks for tuning in. Someone says nope.
Okay.
Back then it wasn't about money for the players. Yeah, Louise Melanson, correct.
So what happened was there was, shortly after Bobby retired again, there were a lot of teams that were going through some different times. Now, Minnesota was doing a benefit game between the Minnesota Old Timers, and they were lucky enough to pick the Boston Old Timers, or the alumni teams. So Bobby agreed to play. He said, yeah, I'll play. So Bobby was on the Boston Bruins alumni team, and then we had the Minnesota alumni team. Not enough Minnesota players showed up. It was probably a snowstorm in Minnesota. So they were short players. So Bobby was the first guy in the change room to lift up his hand and say, I'll go and play for the other team. So Bobby went and played for the Minnesota North Stars.
So that's how that jersey came about.
For this, and there's pictures of Bobby, and I think it was 2 games. He played one in a green jersey and one in a white jersey.
Just so they could have the home and away.
Just so they could have the home and away.
Wow,
so
what a
Bobby
story.
Orr,
Bobby, a good character.
Bobby Orr. Now, as for the Buffalo Sabres, his nephew was playing minor hockey in Buffalo. And his nephew had invited Bobby Orr to come out and skate with them. And I guess Bobby was playing around with him a little bit and said, well, maybe I'll show, maybe I'll show. So Bobby said, I'll show, but I'll be late. So all of a sudden, a goalie skated onto the ice with a Buffalo Sabres jersey.
And all that was Bobby Orr playing net?
All the kids were shooting on him. And then after the practice of the game, Bobby took off his face mask. And sure enough, it was Bobby Orr. And there's pictures of Bobby Orr with
playing
pads.
Net.
With a Buffalo Sabres jersey.
Now, what would that picture be worth if someone had a snap of that?
Well, I don't know if I've seen the pictures of it, and players are different. Like we asked Bobby, would you sign that jersey?
He wouldn't sign it.
He wouldn't sign it.
Just because he was doing a favor.
He was doing a favor. Now, there's pictures of Bobby. I think we talked about this last time. Bobby wore number 27 his first game.
Yeah.
Right? Bobby assigned the 27, but Bobby also wore, I don't know if my buddy Jordan's watching me, I think he wore 13, there's pictures of him wearing 13 and 1 or 2 other numbers. Bobby wouldn't sign them.
Wouldn't sign them at all.
Yeah. Now, also, people, I don't know if people have watched that Rocket Richard movie put out by CBC.
I have not
seen
it.
It's called The Rocket.
Is it worth every minute of it?
It's worth it. Sean Avery's in it. He plays Lou Fontenelle, who gets into a fight with Rocket, and Rocket gives him one shot, knocks him out cold. Sean Avery, right? But here's the interesting thing about Rocket. Everybody thinks Rocket Richard, number 9, Rocket Richard. He didn't wear number 9 in the beginning. His first year and a half, he wore number 15. 1-5.
So from 1-5 to number 9 went.
So what happened was his first baby, Lucille, was born, and when she was born, she was a good sized girl. She was 9 pounds 6 ounces. So he went to Dick Irving, the coach, and said, and his English was very broken. Mr. Irving, I would like to change my number. I would like number 9 in honor of my new daughter, Lucille.
Birth weight.
And she was 9, so he changed to number 9. So I did a signing with Rocket in 1999, and we brought 5s for him to sign. And he said, no, I don't sign number 5s.
Oh, wow.
He wouldn't sign number 5s.
Only the number 9s.
He would only sign number 9s. But we tricked him. If you take a 5, if you take a 9,
yeah,
and if you cut 2 pieces out of it, you get a 5. So we had him sign 9s, cut them into 5s, but here it is. It says, so with a 5, then you stitch a 1 with it, but it's a 5, and he would circle
so
number 9.
not true authenticated jerseys.
Well,
but, trying to mimic.
It's real, but
yes.
it's Frankenstein.
Trickery.
It's Frankenstein.
Was involved.
Yeah. So like a lot of players are like that. Like I said, Bobby wouldn't sign 13s. He did wear number 3.
Wow.
He wasn't, put it this way, if Bobby knew that a white 4 was going on that jersey, he may not have signed it.
Okay.
That number would also go on to a white Team Canada jersey, played Team Canada.
So that
72
was probably
76.
destined for a different jersey.
That was
and
destined.
again, now it's on the Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah.
Now, for a collector, if someone were saying, hey, I want that for my collection,
well, put it this way.
What would the price tag of that be?
If that was a Boston Bruins jersey, $600 all day long. Everybody wants him in Boston. Show me another Minnesota jersey. To me, that's a $1,200 jersey.
$1,200 jersey.
Twice the price.
Again, to the right buyer, everything has a price on it. Again, Glen Rusenstrom joining us from Just In Case. Another great jersey beside that, Andy Bathgate wore number 9 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And again, what is the history? That was a Hall of Fame jersey that he wore back in '78.
That was actually 67. I think it was Pittsburgh's first year in the league.
That was signed in '78.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Hall of Fame. That's his induction year into the
induction year into the Hall of Fame. Right. So Andy Bathgate, that is an official signed Pittsburgh jersey. And again, back then when he signed that, it was just Pittsburgh. There was no Penguins attached to the team.
There was no Pittsburgh. There was no Penguins in the logo. When Pittsburgh started up, the team couldn't decide. And again, we talked about this. Last time I was here, the question was, what was the Pittsburgh's mascot? So I did my research on Pittsburgh.
Slapshot Pete, if you remember that trivia.
But their first inaugural year, it wasn't called the Pittsburgh Penguins. They couldn't decide what to call the team, so it was just Pittsburgh. It wasn't until the next year that it was called the Pittsburgh Penguins.
So that's why there's a little bit more value. Yeah. Obviously, Andy Bathgate...
So that's why on this jersey, we'll see it's just Pittsburgh.
Let me take that up to the side there. We'll show this. Bit of a fashion show here. So this is Andy Bathgate's, was that a game-worn jersey?
No, that is a Mitchell and Ness reproduction.
Hey, Ronnie, take the comment off there.
It's an exact replica of what was worn in '67.
And we'll flip this around here. Yeah. And again, now, because there's not too many Andy Bathgate Hall of Fame induction years autographed on this 9, how much would this Andy Bathgate go for?
Well, the interesting thing is that jersey's probably more valuable than the autograph. The jersey by itself is probably $300 or $400. Adding the autograph, it's probably about a $600 jersey.
$600 jersey, and again, everything's got a price tag. If someone trying to put it in their man caves, lady caves, whatever cave you have, you want to hang that on the wall, they can just call you up.
And we got the cases to go with it.
And the cases, yes, just in case. Now, I want to talk about some other collectibles before we thank our sponsors here and give away some amazing prizes tonight. Not only hockey memorabilia, but someone, let's say, going over to Grandma's house, you're decluttering, maybe in a bit of a move. You find some china hanging out in Grandma's china cabinet. What do you have there for that mug?
I was lucky enough. I worked for William Ashley China in
Now,
Toronto.
I can't break this. If I break this, it's going to cost me quite a bit here.
That's a piece of Jasperware china. Jasperware was discovered, I think, in 1776 by Lord Wedgwood.
Okay.
And
why is it so valuable?
That's a limited edition of 2,000 pieces worldwide. And I think this is from 1976.
I don't want to break that. I'll give that back to you.
It was a reproduction of something made 200 years ago. Jasperware they don't make anymore. It's called black basalt. You'll see it's insigniaed with the Wedgwood hallmark, and it says it's a limited edition of 2,000
So a limited edition. Again, someone going, how common would it be to see this in a china cabinet somewhere.
Well, put it this way: there's probably there's probably more of them broken than still existing because it is China.
Yeah.
My guess, I've never looked up the value. I think they were issued at about $39 a piece. My guess is it's probably $500 to $600 now.
$500 or $600
for a cup and saucer.
And Ronnie wanted to put Fanta in it earlier. No, we're not drinking out of that one.
For a cup and
it's
saucer.
Like the plastic on the couch. This is the room for the adults. No kids touching that one.
So that's interesting.
Now, what about that vase? Is that a vase? That's a vase.
That's a vase. That's a Waterford crystal.
Now, I don't want to break this either.
Was handmade in Ireland. It's still handmade in Ireland.
So it's a Waterford crystal.
Yeah, that's signed by the artist and designer. So I believe. I don't remember how many they were made, but it's signed by the artist that designed that vase.
Wow.
We used to have signings in our store. The artist would come in and sign. I think that vase originally was maybe $69. Like it wasn't.
So retail value way back in the day. Now what would that cost right now? That's why someone said don't break it. Yeah, I don't want to break it.
My guess today, that's about a $600 vase.
Holy smokes.
And again, it goes to show you, keep something, keep it well, keep it in its original state. Like I still have the original boxes for this.
For them as well. And again, are they priced? If someone said, I want that, my grandma used to have those, I would like to, everything's at a price tag.
Well, for me, this
is your personal collection.
This is personal, but like if people have Waterford and they want to know the value, I'll tell you. If they have Lily crystal or Baccarat crystal, or if they have Hermes China or Louis Vuitton pieces.
You'll go and visit. And another question, if people are afraid to bring them to you without breaking them, do you do house visits?
Absolutely. Even just a video chat, a Zoom chat, or a text. A lot of times you can tell.
A FaceTime. You can FaceTime Glen Rusenstrom from Just in Case and take him for a tour around your collectibles.
Yeah.
Now, what puck are we looking at here? What is that?
This is a puck, and it's signed by a good friend of mine, Kim Allen. I coached women's hockey for about 15, 20 years in Pickering Ajax. Mm-hmm. And I had this girl that played for us, and she was a beginner hockey player, no question about it. She had just started to skate. She was a beginner hockey player, right? And all season long, different girls would try to feed her the puck to get her the score. Yeah. And it just wasn't happening. Her last game, somebody fed her the puck. She was in front of the net. It went off her stick and in the net.
And in for her first goal. Last game of the season, she got her first goal of the season.
So I had the ref pull the puck out of the net, bring it to me, and after the game, I had Kim sign it. Is it worth any money? No, but you know what?
It's worth the world
its
weight in gold for you.
Because this girl tried all season. So
it's got a fantastic
So
story.
it doesn't have to be worth, $39 to $600 or $69 to $600. It's what you perceive it, and it's what it means to your heart too. It's not just money. Collect it because it means something to you. If this means something to you, knock yourself out. But if a hockey puck signed by somebody who tried all season to score a goal and they finally did.
As I say, don't take anybody's opinion but your own. If you like it, keep it on display. Yeah. If you've got something for a collectible, you want to see if it's got any value to it, give Glen a call. Glen Rusenstrom from Just in Case. Again, you're filling in the chair. KLOMP on his way back from Buffalo as we speak. He'll be back in tomorrow night. But we want to thank you for coming in here.
Yeah,
we're giving away some vintage prizes here. Not only will you win 4 bowling passes tonight, 4 Imagine Cinema movie passes. There's a 1959 Montreal Canadiens puck that is going to be given away tonight to the winner, and this is the Forum Super Auction booklet. When the Montreal Forum, they were auctioning off pieces of the Forum. And the stamp collection where most of us would have got these back in 2000 and used them to mail to, as you said, to Doris. Yeah. Auntie Doris, you kept them in pristine condition. And again, that booklet, let's go through the price of that booklet of stamps, which we would have got for $2.99.
Yeah.
Is probably worth what now?
Between $40 and $75.
And again, the forum program, the auction program is worth that's
$70 to $75.
And this puck, the 1959 Montreal Canadiens puck, is also it's got the Hall of Fame logo on the back of it. That's worth what, $100?
He's like I said, if you can get somebody that played in that era
to sign the puck, it'll be worth that much more.
Yeah.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
All right, are you going to stick around to see who's going to win this?
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Ronnie, we're going to thank our sponsors. Again, without sponsors, our show does not fly. We'll be right back. And again, one lucky watcher could be you who's going to win right after this.
It's almost that time for the 15th annual Mushkegowuk Cup here in the city. Kicks off the weekend of February 16th through 18th for U7 right up to U21 men's and women's. Entry fee is $600. U21 entry fee is $1,000. Entry fee deadline is coming up January 31st at 5. Email them today, mcup@mushkegowuk.ca to register. Experience traditional winter travel with Abitibi Sled Dogs. Servicing Matheson, Iroquois Falls, and Tibbins. Call today to book your adventure. Email them now, abitibisleddogs@gmail.com. And O'Reilly Source for Sports, your locally owned and operated hockey shop, full-service bike and ski shop here in the north. Sporting goods for the entire family. Check out their hot selections now at O'ReillySports.com or call 705-406-2305 or stop in and see them at the corner of Highway 655 and Highway 101 West. The Wizard of Paws Professional Pet Grooming, locally owned and operated with quality service here in your downtown. Walk-in nail trims, canine enrichment, puppy sessions, senior sessions, and more. Inquire now, 705-288-8660 or walk in and see them at 220 3rd Avenue. And get a ticket for Lisa Framette's second annual Fly With Me music fundraiser presented by Lisa Framette. Coming up January 27th, 5 p.m. at the Porcupine Dante Club. Entertainment provided by jazz musician Donnie Most. How about emceed by TV personality Bill Walechka with a comedy routine provided by Rick Lemieux. Tickets on sale now through eventbrite.ca. And keep your eyes on TFAC. Rumors swirling that the Rock on the River 2024 lineup will be announced soon. Follow them now. You don't want to miss out. TimmonsFestivals.com. And mark off April 20th and 21st for the NOE's Timmons Con 2024. Come and see the Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo and stay tuned for the Northern Ontario Expo.com details to be released of who will be coming as their celebrity. And boost your business with Gerona's Borden Kelly Lawyers, and you could be this week's winner for free advertising just like Abitibi Sled Dogs did. New post is up now with the winners posted and announced this Friday. Get connected with She's Connected with Mel and Mel. Have these ladies grow your business. They deal with speaking engagements, workshops, and more. Follow them now online at shesconnected.ca. And for residential commercial cleaning excellence guaranteed, you go to DAP Cleaning Solutions. Book now for carpet cleaning, strip, and wax jobs for your commercial units today. Call Andrew N for your free quote, 705-465-3500. Discount days are back at Jackpot Time Timmons. Prizes every day with amazing door prizes. Book your bingo slots now at 251 First Avenue. When you're buying or selling, it's Albert Seal sealing your deal with Royal LePage Northern Realty Leaders. Inquire about this new listing on Waterloo today for $379.9. Call Albert now for a showing, 705-465-3493. On the big screen this week, it's Mean Girls, The Beekeeper, and Night Swim. For tickets and showtimes, find them online at ImagineCinemas.com. And stay tuned for Dare Timmons and their details on their free family skate. We'll keep you posted on the Dare Timmons Facebook page. And the Porcupine Gold Kings get set for the Schumacher Cubs this Friday night at the Barn. Puck will drop at 7 p.m. And the PMAJ announcing that their skills are back this week. All goalies are welcome to represent their age group. Details on the PMAJ Facebook page. And she's the producer of Sportsman Channel Canada and Just Hunt Inc., Amanda Lynn Mayhew. Looking for your dream home or new office space? Reach out with Jessica Gervais today at Royal LePage North Northern Realty leaders. Check out all her latest listings at Jessica Gervais at royallepage.ca, like this gorgeous new office space for lease at 681 Algonquin Boulevard East. And there's something fun for everyone at Midtown Bowl. Rock and Bowl, pizza party packages, the Fun Zone, amazing family deals, and more. Book your alley now. Call Nat today, 705-267-3500. And don't pay for 90 days at Masters Tire Timmins. Book your appointments now, 705-915-3745. And if you can't get to them, they'll get to you with their mobile service anywhere in Ontario. Suffering from alopecia? Do you have hair thinning issues into the new year? Louise at Look 140 can help. Check out all her amazing services online at look140.ca or book a consultation now, 705-267-8566. And we wish the Timmins Majors all the best as they pack their bags for Peterborough as they take part in the Steve Ritchie Tournament of Champions. And the Storm gets set for a busy week with 2 home games back-to-back at the Just Jordan Arena. Friday night they take on the Hearst Lumberjacks, and then on Saturday they take on the Timmins Rock. Both game times 7 o'clock at the Just Jordan Arena.
And we are back again. We love all our sponsors. Thank you so much for trusting us to put the word out there. KINZ and KLOMP. A lot of those names have been with us since our inception, since year 0. Hard to believe we're now trekking into year 4 here in 2024.
Doesn't take long. It doesn't take
long at all. And again, we were just talking to KLOMP during the sponsor reel. He's just about to board his plane. He'll be back in Timmins, and again back tomorrow night. We'll ask him all about his fun and shenanigans in Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills got the job done there, 31-17.
Yeah, no, it was a good game. It was fun to watch. I'm surprised they got as much snow removed as what they did.
That's it. He said they probably should have got a discount for having people shovel their seats down in Buffalo. But we'll get KLOMP's stories back from Buffalo on tomorrow night's show. And again, Glen Rusenstrom, always a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Just in case. And again, you can case anything. Doesn't have to be sports memorabilia. If you've got a coffee mug, anything, you said... ashes, anything that you want to, have as a keepsake.
Anything you want to keep sticky fingers off of. Yeah.
And again, you've got all prices for all different cases. You've even had Doug Flutie on the last show. Yeah. Doug Flutie called you up and said, hey, Glen, I need a case. What did he get cased?
Well, I didn't realize it was him. It was actually his agent. And he had a house in, remember Cabbagetown in Toronto? Mm-hmm. Right, around Yonge and College. He had a house around there. So his agent called me, and we went over to the house, and he said, this is the trophy I have. And it was a Vince Lombardi trophy given to the players. Mm-hmm. And he said, my client wants a case for it. I didn't really think anything of it, but then I looked at the trophy, and it was Doug Flutie on it. I said, no problem. This is what we'll do.
Did you charge him full price?
Full pop retail. Sorry, Doug.
Full pop. You knew he's not going to have a problem with the visa.
He wouldn't have any problems.
Doug, I'm going to charge you double.
I did ask him, are you okay if Doug's present when I bring the case? And he said, yeah, I'll make sure Doug is here. So we got to meet him. Didn't spend a lot of time with him, but it was nice to shake his hand and say...
he's probably still got that case
I'm sure
in his possession somewhere. And again, dust-free, because just in case you... that's why they come to you. They come to the pros.
Yeah, we've been very, very lucky that way. Like I think I mentioned last time, we had Corey Perry. We've done cases for 91 on Toronto. Who's the captain?
Tavares.
JT.
Okay.
JT. Johnny Bauer. We were lucky enough towards Jean Beliveau's last couple of years. We had cases for him. We have supplied the Hockey Hall of Fame with, what were they, miniature helmet cases. They were doing something with them.
So they do reach out to you, and again, word of mouth.
They do reach out. Now, I do have to take a shot at James, because the Ottawa Senators one time reached out to us, and it was Melmac who was the owner, and he also owned not only the Ottawa Senators, he owned St. Mike's Majors in the OHL. Okay. He owned that team, and he wanted half a dozen jersey cases. So brought them over to him, and whoever we were meeting said, "Oh, I don't have a check ready for you." It was the longest amount of time to get payment for cases, and that was because of the owner of the Ottawa Senators. So just a little jab.
A little jab at KLOMP.
Just a little one.
He's sitting on, I think he's coming back Porter. So there we go. But amazing stories again, Glenn. We could have you on. We're going to bring you back on throughout the year. Of course, you've got lots of events coming up. If you are a part of silent auctions or need a silent auction, this is your guide who.
That was great.
To get in touch with.
Just doing. Helping you guys out last weekend, Lisa reached out to me today.
Lisa's got her fundraiser coming up next Saturday.
We're going to help Lisa next Saturday, and it was a matter of I want to give back to this community. I've said that since the day I moved back here, and within 2 phone calls, I reached out to Lisa and said, "Lisa, are you okay if I, ask for a couple of favors from different associations in Toronto?" So within 2 phone calls, I got her 4 tickets for the Blue Jays and 2 tickets to a Montreal Canadiens game. So, and again, this is people giving them to me, and I'll give them to her.
You're giving them to Lisa, and of course, people are going to be bidding on these amazing auctions on the 27th at 5 p.m. at the Porcupine Dante Club.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Big night. Now, I'm assuming you're going to be there now?
I already made arrangements. I told Lisa we'll run the whole silent auction. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to try to have between, from what I'm going to supply her, 10 or 12 pieces. Whatever else I can get from the big smoke.
From the big wigs.
Yeah, from the big wigs back in Toronto. I'll have that donated to her as well.
Maybe some Waterford Crystal.
There we go.
Well,
no, I told her because when she came in, she had a Coach purse, and I have a little bit of an appreciation for those finer things. So I commented on her purse, and I told her the company I worked for would sell Hermes and Louis Vuitton and Coach. I said, if I get one of those thrown in, you can't bid on it, Lisa. So I'm holding you to that, Lisa. I'm holding you to that. But
awesome.
We're going to try to help her out because it's going
to a great cause.
Great cause.
The TADH Breast Wellness Center here in the city. And again, if you haven't got a ticket yet for that one, again, $100, and you can go through eventbrite.ca. And if you caught Lisa when she was on the show last week talking about this, $100 and a few, there's a bit of a fee on there. So 100 and change is your ticket. But again, you get the 6-course meal. You get Donnie Mose from Happy Days. He's now a professional jazz musician. Bill Walechka is going to to be there.
Just for the price of the food at the Donnie Club by itself with the
that's worth the $100 ticket right there.
Yeah.
6-course meal, and again, Rick Lemieux going to put a comedy set on. So if you haven't got a ticket yet, eventbrite.ca.
Yeah.
And we'll see you there because Jamie and I will be there.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a good time. I look forward to it.
All right, buddy.
All
again,
right.
Thanks so much for filling in. We appreciate it. We're going to do the draw now. Ronnie, let's find out who's going to walk away with this amazing prize. Again, 4 tickets to bowling from Midtown Bowl, 4 tickets to Imagine Cinemas, 1959 Montreal Canadiens puck. Hey, Amanda Roy is a big winner of all this. The 1959 Montreal Canadiens puck. There's the Montreal Forum auction booklet. And again, the 2000 era stamps, the 50th anniversary of the NHL
All-Star Game.
The All-Star Game. And again, those stamps have never been opened. Again, prize pack tonight, what are you thinking here? That's a couple $100.
Yeah, a couple $100 easy. Yes, this year. Well, as long as they don't produce the same stamps, it'll go up a little bit, Ronnie. It won't be a huge amount.
Everything will go up, and again,
everything goes up because what happens is people find these in Grandma's attic, they open them up, they lick the stamp.
Then the minute the seal is broken, it loses its value. This one's still sealed.
Still sealed, factory sealed.
So there you go. So Amanda Roy, we'll get in touch with you after the show. I'll personally deliver this amazing prize to you tomorrow. And we'll hook up the details again. Glenn, thanks so much. Glen Rusenstrom from Just In Case. Always a pleasure having you on the show.
Oh, I love it. It's a great time.
You're keeping KLOMP's seat warm. KLOMP will be back tomorrow. Again, thanks for watching. Ronnie, roll us out of here.